I'm Mike Renoir, Northwest Fight Scene, NWFightScene.com. I'm here with Mike Chiesa, the Maverick. Man, how are you feeling?
I feel good, man. I had a really good training camp. Pretty much a 6-month camp with the cancellation of my December 8th fight. I just pretty much took a couple weeks off to let myself get better, and then just got right back after it. Joe Silva told me he'd have me up to go early in the year, so I just kind of stayed on my grind. And I've had a great camp, man. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in.
Perfect. Now, you had a real emotional year last year. Obviously with your father passing, that was terrible for you. But then, with winning the Ultimate Fighter and getting into the UFC, and talk about the change in your life. In the last year, I'm sure things have just ramped up tremendously for you.
Oh man, it's just crazy. Because this time last year, I think, about this time last year, I just found out that I'd made the show. Working a full-time job, just, fighting a regional circuit, fighting at Rumble on the Ridge and Cage Sport, and, just fighting all the local shows, fighting in Canada here and there. Just trying to make it, man. And, now here I am, it's just crazy, just going from, I'm from very humble beginnings. I come from just a normal middle-class family, a great family, had a pretty solid blue-collar job, and, now this is it for me. Fighting is my job. I wake up and I'm at work, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have it any other way. It definitely put some pressure on me with winning the show, put a target on my back. But, I embrace it. I want guys to come after me, especially, now that I don't have to work anymore. I can work all facets of the game. And I'm a different fighter than I was then. I'm really excited to get out there and show it.
Cool. Now, let's talk about the fight. Anton Kuivainen, this guy is this Finnish fighter here. He's a tough guy. He's, watched a lot of video on him. I've seen his UFC appearances. He's pretty fierce in there, pretty well-rounded. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
Everybody in the UFC is a tough opponent. There isn't an easy fight within the organization. If anybody would say they got an easy fight in the UFC, they'd be a liar. But Anton's a very tough guy. He's got a good record. I think his record's 17-5. Before his UFC debut, he was on a 7-fight win streak, I believe. Mm-hmm. He's just a gamer, but the difference between him and I is I'm a finisher. You know what I mean? If you look at his record, he has a lot of decisions, and he's a very athletic guy. He's talented. He's very well-rounded, but he's not a finisher. And I'm going to exploit that. I expect a very tough fight. I expect it to be fast-paced. I expect it to definitely go past the first round. But, I'm going to show him that I'm a finisher. There's something people say about us guys that fight from the Northwest is we all don't know how to go backwards. We all just go forwards. We're finishers. If you look at how we fight, it's either we finish or we go out on our shield. And I'm just going to kind of stick to that, man. Just don't take a step back. Don't take any steps backwards. Just a lot of forward pressure. And I'm expecting a tough fight, but I expect to get my hand raised.
Right on. Now, you're listed at 6'1". Is that accurate? Yeah, and now I guess he's like 5'8", so you got like 5 inches on him in height. How does that play when you fight a guy that's much smaller than you?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. For every good thing in fighting, there's always a counter to it. So with me being a tall fighter, obviously I got reach. I got good straight punches will keep him at a distance. But him being a shorter guy, he's got the overhand punches, and that's a good counter for a tall guy like myself. For every counter, there's a counter. So, I'm just looking to go out there, exploit the reach, exploit the size advantage. He's a very thick guy, but he's not, people are like, oh, he's a huge lightweight. I'm like, no, he's not. He's 5'8", and he just has, big glamour muscles. I'm a big lightweight. Right. People will see that on Saturday night, and I've got bigger. I got on a strength conditioning program with Mark Shockman and All About Fitness, and, put on a couple pounds of muscle. I filled out a little more, so, me compared to him, people will see that he's not that big of a lightweight compared to me.
Perfect. Now, with your training this last few months, I know you got these tough guys over there in Spokane. Who have you been working with specifically?
just the same crew I've always been working with. Of course, my number one training partner is Sam Cecilia. It's been that way for the last almost 5 years. We built each other up to this point, so, he's always been my number one training partner. Cody McKenzie, as always, and Wild Beer Bomb. I mean, just the same crew, man, and, like I said, I got Mark Shockman at All About Fitness doing my strength conditioning. Mike Howe, he's been helping me with my boxing extensively. I mean, 3 days a week I've been working with him. Also, everybody else at Spokane Boxing, Rick Welliver, and as well as his brother Chauncey. I've just been kind of anywhere I can go in Spokane to learn something, I've been going. I mean, I have the time now. Now that I don't have a job, I can go. I go everywhere and pick everybody's brain and try and pick something new up. But there's other pros I worked out with too. Is Ryan Mulvihill and Dave Christian. Those guys helped me out a lot too. Adam Smith. Just pretty much the whole Spokane crew.
Right on. Now, I looked at your Twitter. You had an interesting quote the other day. Self-doubt is a persuasive mistress. Careful not to shag her or you'll never get your balls back. Pretty interesting. Now, is that your quote or did you pull that out somewhere?
I just kind of exploring it. I always like to look up quotes and stuff, just kind of food for thought, just kind of like looking around and I saw that one that just kind of cracked me up. I mean, it's totally true. I mean, you can't doubt yourself, man. When you're negative and you start to doubt yourself, it just snowballs, you know what I mean? It piles up on you. And you just gotta stay positive, man. At the end of the day, we choose to fight, so there's no point in getting nervous and doubting yourself. I mean, this is where you put yourself, you put yourself through hell for 2 months. Why get scared of the end reward? The end reward is the fight. You should never doubt yourself. You should be very confident in your training. If you doubt yourself or you have some shadow like that that's hanging over you, then you didn't train hard enough. And, I push myself to my limit, and I'm more than confident coming into Saturday.
Cool. Now let's switch it up a little bit, change topics. Talk about the wrestling here. Now, I know you've been coaching at your old alma mater, Shadle Park. How'd you guys do this past weekend?
We had a good weekend. Terrence McKinney won a second state title as a senior. He's been a great wrestler for our program for the last 4 years. I mean, he grew leaps and bounds from his freshman year to where he is now. So he was a good leader for our team. We had a good showing. Dylan Schmidt, he placed top 4, and he was a kid that never even made it to state last year. Just a solid team. We have a young team, but I'm telling you, man, in the next 2 years, we're going to have a powerhouse. We got a lot of good young kids. I mean, half our varsity lineup is freshmen. So it's like, for them to be upperclassmen to get their varsity spots is a testament in itself. I mean, here in the next couple of years. And a lot of these kids are also dedicating full-time. A lot of these kids aren't going to play other sports. They're going to devote themselves to wrestling. And after this fight, I have full intentions on helping build this program, help run our freestyle team, hopefully get a couple kids to nationals, and, just keep building the team. We had a good year, though. I was very pleased.
Cool. Now, when you were at Shadle Park, did you ever get over to the state tourney?
No, I never did. I was a good wrestler in middle school, real good wrestler. And freshman year, I broke my hand, missed the season. That summer, I broke my leg, missed my sophomore season. So I only got to wrestle my junior and senior year, and I was just too far behind everybody. But, I mean, even after I graduated, I still continued to wrestle. I still did club wrestling. I still trained. And eventually, after I graduated, I started to beat these guys that were wrestling at Tri-State, wrestling at NIC, all these guys that were off in college wrestling or had done great things in high school. So, if someone judges me, or judges my wrestling off of how I did in high school, that's a pretty bad mistake. Because,
right.
I didn't quit when I graduated. I continued to keep wrestling, and then when wrestling just kind of hit a dead end for me, that's when I transitioned to fighting. So
Right. With the wrestling now, I know at this tournament last weekend, I think they had something like 1,700 participants. I think they set a world record. Wrestling is alive and well, in Washington State and in this country. And I know you were very verbal about the IOC decision to take it out of the Olympics. Talk about that.
Dude, I don't even know where to start with that. I woke up that morning, and I always get up and check my Twitter and stuff, and seeing all this stuff about Olympic wrestling getting canceled. I was like, what the heck is this? And I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, there's events in the Olympics that are a freaking joke. I mean, for them to cancel out wrestling, it's like, you gotta be kidding me. There's like 10 totally worthless events you could have cut out, but instead you chose to take out the sport that is the foundation for all athletics. I mean, the two very first sports ever created were wrestling and running.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, everything started with, the gladiators and fight to the death stuff, and then it just kind of branched off into running and wrestling. And that was the foundation for everything. And for them to cut that out from the Olympic program, what is the Olympics anymore? I mean, now it just shows that the Olympics is all about money. This isn't about sports. And for them to cut out wrestling, I mean, it's an insult. I mean, I'm almost speechless. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm just insulted. I mean, it's man's oldest sport. It was the foundation for the Olympics, and for them to get rid of it just shows that it's just some cash cow, stupid thing that's all about money. They don't really care about the sports anymore. It's all about the money.
Right. I agree. Now, switching it up again, you were with recently another tweet, I should say, talked about how you're interested in commentating. I think you mentioned something about John Anik, and even you had that picture. That's right, with your Comcast appearance. Talk about that. I know you commentated before at the Snoqualmie Casino a few times with the Rumble on the Ridge, and in fact, I think you're probably one of the better guys that I've heard in the Northwest commentating. Do you enjoy that?
I do. I enjoy everything about this sport. I love training. I love coaching. I love commentating. I like everything about it. And I've always been kind of a stat guy with whatever I'm passionate about. And I know where everybody trains, and all the guys coming up. I know where they're at. I know what they're good at. And I have a very good relationship with Joe DeRabio and everybody at Koga. So I'll pretty much be commentating Rumble on the Ridge from here on out. It's just something I enjoy. It's something new for me to learn, and I developed a relationship with John Anik throughout the process of The Ultimate Fighter, and he always said to me, you got some talking skills. I would like to get you on as an analyst. And I was like, man, I would be all for it. I mean, I'm a realist. I know I can't fight forever, but I always want to stay involved in the sport from now until the day I croak. And so, me and John, we talk a lot, and he talks to his boss, and just, once I get a few more fights in the UFC and a little bit more exposure, I'll be an analyst for the UFC, here and there. Obviously, I can't do it full time, but I will definitely get a couple chances to get behind the mic, and I'm very excited for it. I mean, it's just something new to learn, and I always want to be a company man. I would like to be involved with the UFC for the rest of my life, even beyond fighting. So it'll be a good opportunity when it presents itself, and commentating for Joe is just kind of building my resume, and I enjoy it a lot. There's nothing I like better than getting behind the mic and calling the fights. I mean, it's just a blast.
Awesome. Now, I know you're a big fan of the sport. Talk about who are some of your favorite fighters overall.
One of my favorite fighters overall, that's just a tough one. I've always been a huge Dan Henderson fan, so it's going to be pretty cool to fight with him on this weekend's card. I mean, Hendo, he's old school, big right hand, Greco wrestler. I mean, just kind of the all-American badass. I've always been a very big BJ Penn fan. BJ's just the guy that, you call him out and you're getting yourself into a fight. He's one of the most well-rounded guys in the game, from the ground to the feet. And I've always enjoyed watching him fight. There's also a lot of exciting guys coming up, too. It's exciting to watch John Jones, I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite fighters, but he's a very great person, and I enjoy watching him when he fights just because, you never know what you're going to get. Every time he fights, he brings something new to the table. He's changing the game, so I enjoy watching him. This is going to sound a little bit biased. Probably one of my favorite people to watch fight, Sam. I mean, anytime you watch Sam fight, you're getting yourself, you're getting into, man. You're going to get into a freaking slugfest, to those crazy fights that attract the fans to the sport. I've always enjoyed watching Sam fight. So, there's a lot of favorite fighters out there. It just kind of depends.
Cool. I appreciate that answer. Now, obviously, for every fight, you got sponsors and people to thank. Who would you like to give some shout-outs to?
I just want to thank my family, thank my friends, everybody that supported me. I want to thank Mike Howell and Chauncey Welver at BoxFit. They've helped me tremendously as far as, rounding out my weaknesses. Thank Rick Little at Sick Jitsu as always. Huge thanks to Sam for just being there whenever I need him. All my wrestlers at Shadle Park. Rick Welver, he helped me out a lot for this fight too. I also want to thank, Tap Out, Mark Shockman. Mark Shockman is all about fitness. He definitely helped me out a lot as well. Getting me stronger. I want to thank Ray Cecilia. It's Cecilia Chiropractic. And, just anybody else I forgot, all my sponsors coming into this fight, and just everybody, man. It's all Spokane. I mean, it's crazy that, Spokane has really gotten behind Sam and I and showed us a tremendous amount of support. There's not enough I could say about that. I mean, if Sam and I were in Las Vegas, we'd just be another guy. But, I mean, Spokane, we get a tremendous amount of support, and I can't express how thankful I am for that.
Awesome. Now, people can find you both on Twitter and Facebook. What's your handle again?
My handle for Twitter and Instagram is MikeNav22, and then, of course, I have my official fan page on Facebook, just Mike Chiesa's official fan page. Mm-hmm. And, just follow me on there and just be ready for an exciting fight on Saturday night. I'm going to bring home that win back to the Northwest.
Excellent. And it is being broadcast on FX, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, hey, Mike, I appreciate your time. Best of luck to you in there, and we look forward to seeing you come back with the win.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. And, I also want to thank you for always covering, Northwest. Northwest fight scene is something I check every single day. I always want to see the new stuff, and the work you put into the website and promoting the sport. I'm very appreciative of that, and you do a good job of it. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.